the Old Cuba Club, Miami, Florida and Havana, Cuba. A Calliope and Armando Ruiz presentation.
The National Museum of Decorative Arts of Havana. The house of María Loisa Gómez-Mena, Countess Revilla de Camargo. What would a country be without a rich history and heritage? Hundreds of thousands of visitors come to Cuba every year to learn about its culture, daily activities, customs, but its heritage is always a must to know the real history and culture of Cuba beyond the fun packages to Havana, Vedado Beach and the national parks. The National Museum of Decorative Arts. Havana, Cuba, 17 and D Streets, El Vedado. The museum is located in the residence of María Loisa Gómez-Mena, widow of Cagiga, Countess of Revilla de Camargo. We cannot visit this place without including this grand Havana lady in this visit and thank her for her creation. This is, and always will be, the home of the Countess of Revilla Camargo. María Loisa Gómez-Mena became Countess when she married Don Agapito Gallegos, Count of Revilla de Camargo. It was a happy communion of fortune and title of nobility, to which she also contributed her exuberant personality. She was one of the most popular Cuban ladies of her time, best known for the splendor of her social life. The Countess initially supported the Cuban Revolution of the 1950s, but when she became disenchanted with the leadership and overly socialist policies, she went into exile in 1959. A nephew was left behind, who also left shortly after. The property was then seized by the government. "12 rooms full of good taste complete this mansion, and the gardens that surround it make the stay in it more pleasant." The mansion as a whole integrates pieces from the 16th to the 20th centuries which tell their own stories. The palatial mansion of the Countess of Revilla Camargo, now the headquarters of the National Museum of Decorative Arts, is one of the most beautiful, luxurious and best preserved buildings in the Cuban capital. Construction on the mansion was begun by her brother, José Gómez Mena, between 1924 and 1927. Its design, initially entrusted to a French house, was completed by Cuban architects. It was proposed to reproduce in this mansion a French palace of the 18th century. Opened on July 24, 1964, it preserves more than 33,000 works of high artistic and historical value in its warehouses and exhibition halls, which come from the reigns of Louis XIV, Louis XV and Napoleon III, as well as oriental pieces from the 16th to the 20th centuries. Also exhibited are works of important manufacturers such as Servers, Chantilly, and Limoges, from France, from England, pieces from Derby, Chelsea, Wedgwood, Worcester and Staffordshire. The lobby shows the first pieces of the collection of furniture which the museum treasures. A 19th century Venetian guéridon table stands out in the middle of the foyer. It is made of braided polychrome wood with inlaid Italian marble on the lid. Four lamps with figures of Moors are part of the set. Transition-style chests, made in France and Italy, during the 18th and 19th centuries, highlight the French taste in the decorative function of the furniture in the reception rooms. Works that come from the royal manufacture of servers are exhibited throughout the mansion and in a small room called the servers' room. It highlights an auxiliary table made by Adam Weyersweiler, with biscuit plates and lapis lazuli cover. In a central showcase are pieces of the 18th and 19th centuries. The main hall, with walls covered with boiseries, presents furniture which show the evolution of the Regency, Rococo and transition styles. A large Rococo dresser, made by Simonier for the Sauce Castle, occupies a special place in the room. There are also two large china vases from the Qianlong period, 18th century. The setting is completed by porcelains from the mason and service manufacturers. Reception given by the Countess for the Counts of Barcelona. The neoclassical room has furniture from the Louis XVI period, two mercurial bronze chandeliers made by Clodion, which rest on two neoclassical consoles with Italian marble tops. A secrétaire, made by Henri Rezena, who was part of the personal furniture of Queen Marie Antoinette at the Palace of Versailles, is the most important piece of the room. The decoration of the dining room is inspired by the Regency style. Italian marbles line the walls, and Mercury bronze trophies are placed in each corner of the room. A clock with bronze is attributed to Cafari, son, and machinery made by Martinot, watchmaker of King Louis XV, can be viewed in this room. Various collections of German, Chinese, French and English tableware, treasured by the museum, are exhibited on the table. The Countess reviewing the table set for a dinner party for the Duke of Windsor. The room configured as a ballroom. We can see the Duke of Windsor dancing, and Mrs. Simpson also dances with another partner in the corner of the photo, with the Countess looking towards them. An 18th century Persian rug, armchairs hand-carved by the English cabinet maker Thomas Chippendale (1709 to 1779), are some of the pieces that occupy the English hall. A Sheraton-style cabinet showcases objects of English silver from the 18th to the 20th centuries. Two chests of drawers, in the style of Adam Weyers Wheeler, serve as support for two Medici vases from the Worcester manufacture. Countess Revilla of Camargo and friends entertaining the former King of England, Edward VIII, the Duke of Windsor, at her Havana home, in 1948. The Salon of Oriental Lacquers. This was the old music room of the house. It has pieces made of lacquered wood. From the entrance to the room we can perceive this smell that allows you to travel in time. The room also includes large Coromandel screens of the 17th century and Chinese dividers of the same century and the 19th century. The central table, from Beijing, is decorated with incrustations of nacre, bone and ivory like the Japanese booksellers with floral decorations. a reception offered by the Countess Revilla de Camargo for the Duchess of Alba. Los Chevaliers de España Orchestra, playing at a party given by the Countess in the 1950s. The main bathroom is decorated in the Art Deco manner, with pieces of toiletries made of silver, glass and porcelain, among which several pieces are made of French opaline by René Lalique, and others made of crystal from Bohemia. "94 fans are exhibited at the museum which belong to the writer, poet and lawyer, Cervantes Award, Dulce Loynarts del Castillo. For the Cuban writer, Dulce Loynarts, the fans were not a mere accessory but a perfect and complete work of art in miniature, worthy of respect and admiration. She came to collect about 300 fans. A piece stands out in the collection, a fan signed by the famous French painter of the 19th century, Madeleine Lemieux, who inspired part of writer Marcel Proust's work. The Museum of Decorative Arts hosted on May the 18th, among other activities, the exhibition 30 Years of the Workshop of Gian Boggio, which was conceived in conjunction with the International Cultural Institute, run by the Frenchman Olivier Perpoint. Perpoint brought to Cuba the work of designer Gian Boggio to establish a dialogue between his art and pieces from the collection of the Havana Museum itself. The samples are composed by the work of this outstanding jeweler and French goldsmith who has made works in glass, porcelain, tapestry, wallpaper and furniture. The exhibition aims to establish a continuity in the quality and mastery of porcelain, glass and metalwork production in France. It has been curated by Gustavo Lopez, Technical Deputy Director of the National Museum of Decorative Arts, and Olivier Perpoint, with the support of the Cultural Institute International. The mansion, designed by French architects Vedado and Esta, is surrounded by gardens that complement the tour of the museum. The Garden of the Seasons, to the right of the house, houses Italian marble sculptures made in the 19th century, allegories of spring, summer, autumn and winter. The night garden, on the left flank, is decorated with sculptures of Rococo and neoclassical inspiration. Many confuse María Loisa Gómez-Mena, Countess of Revilla de Camargo, with her niece, María Loisa Gómez-Mena Vivanco, great patron of the vanguardia painters, and who died in a car accident in Spain in 1959. María Loisa Gómez-Mena, Countess of Revilla de Camargo, died in Madrid in 1963, but her legacy is still alive in her house in El Vedado. Thank you for your visit to the home of Countess of Revilla de Camargo, Havana's National Museum of Decorative Arts. The city of Havana celebrates 500 years of history and culture in 2019.